Hello, welcome to Kapow Toys Presents. I'm your host, King Grimlock, and today we're going to be having a look at War for Cybertron Megatron. Now then, when the first pictures of this guy came out, the toy anyway, who was with me when they thought, oh, what have they done to Megs? Oh, the arms look terrible, because it was obviously mistransformed. Now that I have him in hand, I've been sort of avoiding everything until I could get him in hand and have a good look at him. He is sensational. He is an utterly brilliant transformer, and I picked this guy up at AA while I was working there, and he is possibly one of the nicest from the Generation line, and possibly the best toy that I picked up at Auto Assembly. Now, here he is in his hover tank mode. It's just a big gun on a triangle at the end of the day. It's nicely detailed, but everything about this toy is focused on the robot, really. There is very little that is actually there for the vehicle mode, as it were. You have these little pincers very reminiscent of Armada Megatron, and you can transform him into his tank mode very simply by going and difference, not much at all. And to be honest, completely unnecessary. Nice to have it in there, but I don't know, everything about this just screams about his robot mode, and it's kind of, while I want to focus on all this beautiful paneling detail, and there's all these lovely little panels picked out all over him, and there's so much intricate detail has gone into, for example, the fusion cannon alone has got hours of sculpted detail all the way through it. It is all about the robot, and I'm just going to crack straight into it because it is that I'm going to gush about. And War for Cybertron Megatron in his robotic glory. What a piece. Solid, chunky, highly posable, simplistic transformation. There isn't too much to it. But what you end up with is this wonderfully asymmetrical finish to him. I'm sure it's deliberate, the fact you have these different panels on each arm, there's different size to him, whereas the legs and the central body are the same, to offset this massive fusion cannon, which is, as you can see, pretty much the same height as he is. But it doesn't look overbearing, like the Masterpiece Megatron one, which is just huge and completely overweighs the toy. This just oozes quality just because of the amount of detail to it. I mean, let's have a closer look at that. Look at the sculpting down it. Look at the quality of what they've done. Obviously, it does what all good missiles do. It fires. But the detailing, the work that's gone into it, the fact that the buttons actually got sculpting on it and different coloured paint apps. Amazing work from Hasbro to get this guy looking as good as they have. And I haven't played the game, oh for shame, but from what I can gather, this is an ideal representation of him. Posability is great, as you can get back on there. As you can see, arms, swivels and joints all over the place, and that's part of the transformation, but you can sort of work it to your advantage. The hands are completely unposable. They are two join points through the middle, and it does mean that you can't hold any weapons, but when you've got something that big on your side, do you really need to hold a gun? Legs solid. It seems to be the War for Cybertron aesthetic, especially with the Decepticons, that the legs are very chunky. They're very ground heavy at the bottom. Very ground heavy at the bottom, is that even a phrase? I do not know. Chunky in the leg department, and while I love the aesthetic of it, all these sharp edges, especially compared to all the curved edges up here and the softer parts up here, it does seem quite incongruous to the rest of the robot. You feel like these leg sections should be smaller, they should be slightly tidier at the bottom, but it is reminiscent of the G1 toy. You have these big panels, if you remember the barrel grip, whatever it's called, of the gun, it made up the legs, and you had these much darker, heavier areas at the bottom of the toy. Round to the back, and why am I taking you around the back? Because it's kibble free, but look at that detail. Look at the sculpting on that. Look at the sculpting all over the back of the toy. Yes, you have these panels at the back, who cares? But the interior was the interior of where the wheels were. All the sculpting at the back. All of this is at the back. Look at the work they've got. It's like something out of Geiger. It's awesome. It is beautifully done. again, you'd kind of want all of this level of detailing all over the toy, because there isn't that much at the front. It is very focused on this chest and head area. The head sculpt is fantastic. Old Buckethead is back. And you just, I don't know, there's just a little bit of sculpt detail around the stomach area, around the abs and everything, but nothing to the detail and the work and the love and affection that's obviously gone into that point. And the symbol on the back, which is very reminiscent of the Fallen sarcophagus in Revenge of the Fallen, the adaptation, and the Defiance Alliance, whatever it was. You know, that image there in the middle, very Decepticon-esque. Really, really nice work's gone into him. And as I say, this could have been one of my highlights of Auto Assembly, being able to pick this guy up. And he's one of the highlights of the Generations. And you know what? I loved Drift. I mean, I gushed about Drift for... I could have gushed about Drift for hours, and have done since, to everybody who doesn't own him, telling them to get one. But this guy is almost as good. This is definitely the best of the War for Cybertron stuff by a country mile so far. And I think it's because we had I had such low expectations of it after those first horrific images, when he was sort of sat there like, you know, like that, and didn't have his fusion cannon. And it was just a bad time. He can take his fusion cannon on either arm, depending on do you want your ambidextrous Megatron. Personally, I like it on that side because you have the much larger area around there. In all, I can't recommend this guy enough. He is available now at Kapow, of course. Get one. If you have any of the other War for Cybertron stuff, especially the Prime or the Bumblebee, and Soundwave, now that he's out as well, coming out as well, you know, you almost owe it to yourself to get this guy, because the other ones, while have looked better in the process of making them, this guy is the more complete form. This guy has had the more time and attention lavished on him, and the love lavished upon him, which the others, I don't know, while the transformation is, this is a simple transformation, especially compared to the other two. This is legend class in comparison to the other two. But you know what? This guy is better. This guy is the one I would recommend from the War for Cybertron line, without a doubt.